This is Yusuf at JohnTheHutDweller. Uh, it's very funny with I speak against Islam, but many Muslims are actually very, for lack of a better word, spiritual people, very compassionate people, and the same thing with Christians. Uh, and it's odd. I don't find this among the Mormons at all, and other people who I don't find this among. And I don't mean all of the Jews. I mean some of them, the ones who have the audacity to stand before God and pray, God, thank you, you've not made me a dog, a Gentile, or a woman. And I always thought this was an ancient Pharisaic prayer and it was never used in modern times, but I come to find out that there are people who actually pray this prayer. And it's strange if you look through certain Jews, I don't want to label all the Jews this, certain prayers of these certain sects, they they believe the law is some type of contractual agreement with God, and they think they have to remind God of this. God, remember your promises, and you need to remember them because I'm a son of Israel, and you need to remember it. As if you're telling you're bickering with God. And and it's very strange. Will protect Israel because you promised to protect it, so you better protect it. It doesn't seem like God, guide me to your truth, please, open my heart to be compassionate to all people, type of stuff. And I always found it strange that while there were certain uh, Jewish foundations that have charities for specifically Jews, um, in Christianity, in whatever country they have, they'll help anybody, or maybe if there's uh, an oppressed group of Christians, they'll send out money for there. The Orthodox Church gives away food to many Palestinians because the Orthodox and the Muslims are basically brothers in the struggle against the state of Israel. But the Jews will go out. Some of them, I don't want to mean all of them, will go out, and when they give charity, they need to give it to other Jews. Uh, it is plain to see in the gospel and even in the Quran, it's meant for everybody. Even though the Quran is in Arabic and whatever, but at least supposedly it's for everybody, and there's no exclusiveness in there. In the gospel, we see this in the New Testament, especially. This it's for all people. Paul even goes to great lengths. It's for the Jew first, and then second to the Greek. And then in Romans he lists off barbarians, blah blah blah. He goes through all the people, and but there are no verses in the gospel or in the Quran that say keep this hidden, or other people can't look on this. But surprisingly, there are verses in the Talmud say you are not allowed to teach this to a Gentile, and things like you are not bound to keep your word with the Gentile. You are not. I mean, this runs in the face of what Moses taught. Uh, you know, if a Jew has a dispute with a Gentile, it doesn't matter who's right. You always side with the Jew. Things like this, and these things concern me because that might be a natural instinct of man. But if you're telling somebody, I mean, I always say, I'll protect my family no matter what. But there's what God is supposed to bring you to something higher. These are just like legal or bickering agreements. And you see some of these quote unquote Orthodox Jews who do nothing but try to get around the Torah. They say, well, if there's a loophole in there are no loopholes in the Torah. I mean, this is where Christ said, you obey the letter of law and not the spirit of the law. I mean, God told you not to work, but okay, this technically isn't work, and this technically isn't lighting fire, so I can go about my normal day if I just don't do certain things and jump through the hoops. And this is a slap in God's face. I mean, even Moses killed a man for splitting wood on the Sabbath. Yeah, but yet you believe there are loopholes and that they're meant for people to wiggle through them, and it's very strange how the Torah was given, and it's extremely plain, and you can just read it. But then they have all this other stuff where it's not new revelation like the prophets. It's just bickering on how to interpret the Torah and what it really means, and this, and totally superseding many things of it, and sometimes going beyond the oneness of God. And it's very odd that they kind of interject these forms of sorcery, but oh no, they're not sorcerers. I mean, these people would be put to death if they were living in the time of Moses. Um, I just find these to be very strange, and it's very sad that this is going on. Uh, and it's funny, there are many Hasids or Orthodox Jews I see that they're dressed up in, they got the long curls and they got the hat and the black and white, but then they act just as anybody else. But they observe these certain laws, but then they're joking around or telling dirty jokes, uh, running about the world as if you know they're not made a peculiar people as they profess to be. There's no we're already Jews, and we what we do with God, that's that, and then we can go out and this is very saddening. Um, Christ said a lot of things against the Pharisees. Maybe what Christ says still stands against some of these people. I mean, honest indictments. Uh, Hopefully, the Karaites will grow in number, and the Jews will go to the Karaite Jews. Peace to you.